Hey family. Welcome back to the space where your soul gets reminded of what it's always known. Where we speak life, speak truth, and remember the divine blueprint within us. Now, if you're here, it's not by accident. There's a reason why your spirit was pulled to this message. Because somewhere deep within, you've known it all along. You are chosen. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining things. You were sent here for a reason. But here's the part that most people don't talk about. Being chosen doesn't always feel like a blessing. Sometimes, it feels like isolation, like struggle, like being misunderstood again and again. But underneath all of that, behind the trials, behind the pain, there are gifts, rare gifts, sacred abilities, encoded into your spirit long before you ever took your first breath. So today, we're going to uncover the truth. I'm going to walk with you through 5 rare gifts that only chosen ones carry. And once you understand them, your life, your pain, your purpose, it will all start to make sense. So take a deep breath. This isn't just a video. It's a reminder of who you are. Let's begin. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a room where everything looked fine on the surface? People were smiling, laughing, talking. But something in your spirit said, something's off. You couldn't explain it. You had no physical proof. But your soul just knew. That is spiritual discernment. And it's one of the rarest, most sacred gifts that chosen ones carry. You see, this gift isn't something you learn. It's something that awakens in you, through pain, through intuition, through divine connection. Discernment is that quiet voice that speaks before the storm. It's the inner nudge that says, don't trust that smile. It's the sudden weight you feel around someone who's saying all the right things, but their energy tells another story. Discernment is the gift of seeing through, not just what's seen. And here's the thing. Most people rely on what they can touch, taste, or measure. But chosen ones? We're tuned into a higher frequency. We're listening to something deeper than words. We're reading the vibration of the moment. It's how you've survived situations you never should have made it out of. It's how you knew to walk away before the mask fell off. It's why people say, "How did you know?" And you just say, "I felt it." Let me tell you something real. Spiritual discernment isn't just about reading other people. It's also about reading yourself. Knowing when your own ego is trying to manipulate a situation. Knowing when your fear is trying to disguise itself as logic. Knowing when your spirit is saying asterisk, move, even when your mind says, stay. That's power. And here's the part nobody tells you. This gift comes with a price. Because the more you discern, the more you see. And sometimes, that means seeing people for who they really are. That friend you used to trust? Suddenly, their energy feels different. That partner you thought was your soulmate? You feel the shift before they even say a word. That opportunity that looks amazing on paper? Your spirit won't let you sign the dotted line. And it's confusing at first. You start asking, am I being paranoid? Why can't I just go with the flow like everyone else? Why does it feel like I'm always the one who has to see what no one else sees? But here's the truth. Discernment is not paranoia. It's protection. It's not anxiety. It's awareness. And it's not rejection. It's redirection, straight from the divine. This gift is a shield. It will prevent betrayals. It will save you from wolves in sheep's clothing. It will remove people from your life who you thought were permanent, and replace them with alignment. But only if you listen to it. You see, a lot of chosen ones have discernment. But they don't trust it yet. They override their inner knowing in the name of kindness, politeness, or people-pleasing. But what you need to understand is, your discernment is sacred. It's divine intelligence flowing through you. And the more you honor it, the stronger it becomes. You'll start picking up on shifts before they happen. You'll feel when doors are opening, and when they're closing. You'll walk away from chaos before it explodes. Because chosen ones don't move by sight. We move by spirit. Let me share something personal. There were times in my life where I knew something was off, but I stayed anyway. I ignored the gut feeling. I gave people the benefit of the doubt. I said, maybe it's just me. And every time I silenced my discernment, I paid a price. So now, I don't question it. If my spirit feels uneasy, I listen. If a situation drains my energy, I exit. If a smile feels fake, I don't force a connection. Because I've learned. It's better to lose access to someone than to lose access to your peace. That is spiritual maturity. So if you've been doubting your instincts lately, stop. You are not too sensitive. You're spiritually sensitive, and that's a gift. You are tuned into what others ignore. You're awake in a world that's asleep. And yes, that can feel lonely sometimes. But that loneliness? It's a sign that you've been chosen to see what others miss. That is why people come to you for clarity. That's why you feel tired around certain people. Your soul is doing work their soul refuses to do. So today, I want you to own this gift. I want you to honor it. I want you to stop explaining it away, apologizing for it, or trying to suppress it to make others comfortable. You were not given discernment to blend in. You were given discernment to lead. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs clarity. And that, my friend, is exactly what you carry. So the next time something feels off, don't argue with yourself. Don't gaslight your own intuition. Don't wait for the mask to fall. Listen, trust, and move accordingly. Because chosen ones don't just see the world. We see through it. Let's sit with something deep for a moment. Because this gift, this rare, divine gift, isn't one that's easy to carry. In fact, it's often born out of suffering. Out of nights you didn't think you'd make it through. Out of the tears no one saw. The wounds no one validated. The prayers you whispered when your voice was too broken to speak. Chosen ones, we carry something sacred. We carry the ability to turn pain into power. To take what was meant to destroy us and transform it into something purposeful, something beautiful, something divine. That is not a common trait. That is a spiritual alchemy. Most people run from their pain. They numb it. They avoid it. They bury it under distractions, addictions, relationships, or noise. But you face it. You feel it. You walk through the fire, not because you enjoy it, but because something in your soul knows. There's something on the other side. That's a rare gift. And I know it doesn't always feel like one. Because transmutation doesn't look glamorous. It looks like crying in your car. It looks like waking up and choosing not to give up. It looks like healing from things you never even received an apology for. It looks like standing in the ruins of what life used to be and whispering to yourself, I will build something from this. That's power. That's purpose being born from pain. Let me say this plainly. You were not chosen because your life would be easy. You were chosen because you have the strength to turn your suffering into service. You've been through what you've been through, not for nothing. But because your story would one day help someone else make it through theirs. Think about it. The wisdom you carry today? It came from pain. The compassion you have for others? It came from your own heartbreak. The way you can hold space for someone's darkest hour? It's because you've sat in that darkness yourself and survived it. That's what makes you different. You don't just go through things. You grow through them. And not only that, you turn around and use your healing to help someone else. You teach from your scars. You lead from your lessons. You inspire from your experiences. And let me be clear. This doesn't mean your pain was fair. This doesn't mean you deserved it. This doesn't mean God caused it. But it does mean this. Nothing you went through will be wasted. Because everything the enemy meant to destroy you with, God is flipping it into your testimony. You may have been rejected, but now you teach others self-worth. You may have been abandoned, but now you're a light for those who feel alone. You may have struggled with depression, but now your voice carries hope. That's what a chosen one does. We take the ashes, and we make art. We take the pain, and we create purpose. We take the storm and become the shelter for others. And family, that's not weakness. That's not being too emotional. That is divine resilience. Let me remind you of something powerful. Your pain is not your identity. It's your initiation. It's what activated your deeper calling. It's what unlocked your empathy. It's what taught you who you are and what you're capable of. It's what stripped away everything false, so the real you could finally rise. So the next time you look back at what you've been through, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "What did it teach me? What did it unlock in me? What is it preparing me for?" Because I promise you, there's a soul somewhere who will be healed by the story you're still learning how to tell. That's your gift. You're not just a survivor. You're a transmuter, a divine vessel, an instrument of healing, a walking testimony that says, you can rise from this. So own your story, honor your scars, speak your truth, because when you do, you activate others. You become the light you once needed, and that is what it means to be chosen. There's something different about you, and maybe you've always known it, even before you had the words to describe it. You've never really blended in, not fully. Even when you tried. Even when you smiled through the discomfort. Even when you shrunk yourself just to keep the peace. Still, people felt something when you walked into the room. Some were drawn to it. Some were intimidated by it. Some were confused by it. But they all felt it. And that's because you're not just here to exist. You're here to awaken. That's your gift. Chosen ones are not just light bearers. We're activators. Your energy does something to people. Even when you're silent. Even when you're just being yourself. Your presence speaks. It causes people to reflect. To question. To stir. And that's not because you're trying to impress anyone. It's because your frequency carries truth. And truth can be disruptive. You ever notice how people get uncomfortable around you? Even when you haven't done anything wrong? You walk into a space and the air shifts. People get quieter, or louder, or more reactive. Why? Because something about you reminds them of their unlived potential. Your spirit shines in places they've been taught to keep hidden. Your authenticity threatens their masks. Your courage exposes their compromise. And that's not your fault. It's your gift. But let's be real. It can be hard to carry. Because being an awakener doesn't come with applause. It comes with resistance. It comes with being misunderstood, being misjudged, being labeled too deep, too intense, too much. But that's because most people are still sleeping, and you were born to ring the alarm. You were sent to speak truth into places that have normalized lies. You were sent to crack open hearts that have been locked by fear. You were sent to carry conversations that make people uncomfortable, because discomfort leads to awakening. Chosen ones don't just survive. We shift atmospheres. We ignite change. We remind people of who they really are underneath the conditioning. And let me be clear. You don't have to be a preacher, or a healer, or a teacher. You don't have to be on a stage, behind a mic, or in front of a crowd. Your life is the message. Your healing is the sermon. Your choices, your integrity, your growth, your peace, those are the ripples. Those are the seeds you're planting in every room you walk into. And not everyone is going to be ready for that. Some will leave. Some will ghost you. Some will throw shade, project their pain, or pretend they never saw your value. Let them. Not everyone is meant to walk beside an awakener. Because here's the truth. The light that awakens some will blind others. You are here to wake up souls, not to be liked by everyone. Your job isn't to make people comfortable. Your job is to reflect the truth, with love, with grace, but with clarity. And sometimes that means holding a mirror that others aren't ready to look into. Sometimes it means being the first one to break a generational curse. Sometimes it means saying, I can't do fake anymore. That is a lonely road. But it's also a sacred one. Because even if they don't thank you now, even if they push you away, one day, when they're ready, they'll remember you. They'll remember your energy, your words, your vibration, and they'll say, "That was the moment something in me started to wake up." That's your calling. Not to convince, not to control, but to awaken. To live in such alignment with truth that anyone around you is forced to ask themselves, "Am I living mine?" And that's not ego. That's not arrogance. That's just what happens when a chosen one walks in their power. You don't preach. You embody. And embodiment? That's louder than any sermon. So if you've felt like your presence has been shaking things up lately, if people have been falling away, acting differently, or even accusing you of changing, good. That means the gift is working. Don't shrink. Don't dim. Don't apologize for your frequency. You were called to awaken. And the world needs more of that now than ever. So keep rising. Keep living your truth. Keep being the example. Because every time you choose alignment over approval, you activate another soul. And that, family, is one of the rarest gifts of all. This one is mysterious and sacred. Chosen ones often carry something called ancestral memory. What does that mean? It means you remember things you were never taught. You know truths no one ever told you. You feel connected to realms you can't fully explain. Ever had a moment where you just knew something? Where your body felt like it had walked into a place it had never been, but also always known? That's ancestral memory. You carry the wisdom, pain, strength, and guidance of those who came before you. Why? Because your bloodline needed someone to break the cycle, to complete what your ancestors started, to heal what was buried in silence. You are the answered prayer of someone who never got to see freedom. You are the voice for those who were silenced. You are the shift your lineage has been waiting for. That's why you feel things so deeply. That's why your journey has felt so heavy at times. Because you're not just carrying your own story, you're carrying generations. But here's the good news. You're not alone. Your ancestors are with you, guiding you, speaking to you through dreams, symbols, synchronicities. And every time you rise, they rise too. So the next time you doubt your strength, remember, you're walking with thousands. Now this last one. This one will hit home for many of you. The final rare gift chosen ones carry is what I call divine isolation. It's the season where everything feels like it's falling apart. People leave. Plans collapse. Doors close. And you're left wondering, did I do something wrong? No. You did something right. Because when God isolates a chosen one, it's not punishment, it's preparation. You're being separated from distractions, from noise, from false connections. So you can hear clearly. So you can see who you are without the mirrors of the world. It's in isolation that the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. It's in the quiet that the warrior trains. It's in the wilderness that prophets are formed. So if you've been feeling alone, abandoned, misunderstood, take heart. This isn't your ending, it's your activation. God hides what He values. And if you're being hidden, it's because there's something sacred in you that must be protected before it's revealed. So stop fighting the solitude. Start embracing the silence. Because when the time comes, the same world that overlooked you will watch you rise. Family, you are not here by chance. You were called. And these rare gifts? They're not just traits. They're responsibilities. You were chosen to carry light into dark places. To speak truth where lies have ruled. To walk boldly, even when the road is lonely. And I know, it hasn't been easy. But your existence is proof that the divine is still working. So walk with your head high. Walk with clarity. And never forget who you are. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're chosen. And your gifts, rare as they are needed now more than ever. If this message resonated with your spirit, drop a "I receive" in the comments. And if you feel called to, share this with another chosen one. Let them know they're not alone. Until next time, stay aligned, stay protected, and above all, stay powerful. Peace and divine love.